Long ago, in the land we now call the Dakotas, the wind carried whispers of a mighty creature. The people of the plain spoke of a great bird, one whose wings could block out the sun and whose cry shook the earth like thunder. This was the Thunderbird, a being of power and mystery, carved into the very stones of the bluffs by those who remembered its legend. The story begins with a time when the world was young, and the people lived close to the land. The skies were ruled by the Thunderbird, a spirit of the storm, whose feathers crackled with lightning, and whose wings brought the rains that fed the earth. The people respected this great creature, for it was both protector and destroyer. When the Thunderbird soared, the land trembled beneath its shadow. But it was not a beast of mindless fury. It was a guardian, a force of balance. One summer, the land grew parched. The rivers shrank to trickles. The grass turned brown, and the buffalo grew thin. The people prayed for rain, but the skies remained empty. The elders gathered and spoke of the old stories, of how the Thunderbird had once brought storms to the earth when the world was dry. But the great bird had not been seen in many seasons. Some feared it had left the world behind. A young warrior named Chaska decided he would seek the Thunderbird. He knew the legend spoke of a high place, a sacred bluff where the bird had once perched. The elders warned him the Thunderbird was not a creature to be summoned lightly. Its power could bring life, but it could also bring ruin. Still, Chaska was determined. He took nothing with him but a small pouch of sacred tobacco and his own courage. For days he traveled, climbing higher into the rocky hills. The sun burned his skin, and his throat ached with thirst. But he pressed on, following the stories told by his ancestors. At last he reached a great bluff, its stone face marked with ancient carvings, images of wings and swirling storms. This was the place. Chaska knelt and placed the tobacco upon the rock, offering it to the winds. He closed his eyes and sang the old songs, the ones his grandmother had taught him. For a long time, there was only silence. Then, a sound like distant thunder. The air grew heavy and the wind began to howl. Chaska opened his eyes and saw it, the Thunderbird, descending from the clouds. Its wings stretched wider than the span of 10 men, and its eyes burned like the heart of a storm. The earth shook as it landed before him, its talons gripping the stone. Chaska did not run. He stood, though his legs trembled, and spoke. "Great Spirit, our land is dying. The people need rain." The Thunderbird studied him, its gaze piercing. Then, with a cry that split the sky, it spread its wings and rose into the air. Dark clouds gathered, swirling where the bird flew. Lightning flashed, and the first drops of rain began to fall. Chaska watched as the storm spread across the land, the rain soaking into the thirsty earth. By the time he returned to his people, the rivers were rising, the grass greening once more. The elders nodded in approval. The Thunderbird had answered. But the legend does not end there. The people say that the Thunderbird left its mark upon the bluffs that day, carving its story into the stone so that none would forget. Even now, if you stand on those high cliffs and listen closely, you might hear the distant rumble of its wings, a reminder of the time when the great bird brought life back to the land. And so the story lives on, passed down through generations, carved not just into rock, but into the hearts of those who remember. The Thunderbird is still out there, watching, waiting. Some say it returns in times of great need, when the earth cries out for balance. Others believe it never left, that its spirit lingers in every storm that rolls across the plains. The next time you see dark clouds gathering on the horizon, listen. That might not be just thunder. It might be the echo of wings, the voice of the great bird, still watching over the land.